Hello, good evening. It's a lovely good evening today, the 14th of August 2023. To present Camnet Television News, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. The top stories in the news tonight. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI gives President Hakainde Hichilema a 5-day ultimatum to move into State House. Fake doctor gets 3-year jail sentence for causing amputation of the client's hand. The labor movement urges government to bail out councils amid of unpaid salaries. In international news, Niger Junta slams inhumane ECOWAS sanctions. And in sports news, NAPSA stars 2024 ABSA Cup.
Tonight, 14th August 2023, on National Matters, join Patrick Soko with his guest, Honorable Winter Kavimba, Economic Front Party President.
To see from the UPND is, can you fulfill your campaign promises?
As they discuss governance reflections of the UPND government's 2 years in office.
Invite others to participate through phoning, on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again, another news in detail. Construction of Kamanga Police Post along Obama Road in Lusaka is progressing amidst concerns from residents and traders over its location. One of their concerned residents, Yendelani Sakala, told Camnet News that the location of the police post defeats its purpose as it is located in Charleston, away from the affected Kamanga area. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Sakala has accused ward officials of imposing the location of the police station on the residents. Another resident, Derek Nkole, says the land where the police post is being constructed has a court injunction and wonders how authorities have opted to abrogate the law by going on with construction works. Details in the following report.
3 years after Osaka's Kamanga routing residents torched a police post in the area and damaged police vehicles after an officer shot dead a civilian during an operation to check on compliance for COVID-19, the construction of a new structure is taking shape. However, the location of the police post has left some residents aggrieved, accusing the ward leadership of imposing the location on them. The residents claim the police post was supposed to be located inside Kamanga, where policing is needed.
Kuri old police, kuri mzaleka plus na yanyu. Why tena tini Kamanga police? Maya bantu bakana tingu Charleston. So sizoteka hizo tifuna police hadi kukomboni. Malo niambili kumapawa line kuja kuli malo wangamange police mshemushe.
Muri majanki kambire mapropose kati uyenda che usiku che uboda bwacha muntu abwera che bogwira che kwa bagwira che bakusecha che vulivonse venoli na veve but uku kweve ukuli peace kuli problem ndi uku ndiko tifuna police.
Another resident, Derek Nkole, who is also a trader on the verge of being displaced due to the construction of the police post, says the land in question has a court order directing works to stop, but has been disregarded.
These people guys pushed for titles. So as we speak now, there is an injunction, there is a court order. They've refrained us from continued construction. But what is surprising is that while this court order is in force, some people are building. And the question is, because this is to do with security in the ward, and when these people are using CDF funds, and when there is a need for security, for example in Kamanga we need a police post, people in the ward have to come together and discuss and come up with a convenient place, which is as a result of consensus.
Efforts to get a comment from Shakunkura Ward Councillor Njomana Chimuka proved futile at broadcast time as his phone went unanswered. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, has re-echoed its call for government through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to bail out local authorities that have failed to pay their employees. ZCTU President Blake Mulala says the Congress is aware that workers belonging to 15 different councils countrywide have not received their salaries for over 6 months, which is an offence under the Employment Act for monthly wages to be delayed beyond the 6th day in the other month. Mr. Mulala wonders how the said workers have been surviving in this hard economy. More in this report.
Do not defraud your neighbor or rob him. Do not hold back the wages of a hard man overnight, the Holy Bible says in Leviticus 19:13. However, the mighty Lusaka City Council has not only gone against the Employment Act, which says monthly wages must not be delayed beyond the 6th day of another month, but also the Holy Bible, which says, as quoted in Leviticus. This is despite the council having control of huge facilities such as bus stations and markets. This has dismayed Zambia Congress of Trade Unions President Blake Mulala.
The biggest question which must come to mind is how are the workers making it to go to work? We work in order to earn a living through the wages which are paid for. So most of these workers have been pushed to go to get loans at very high interest rates, and the little which they are still being owed, when it comes back, when they are going to be paid, it's not going to make any difference. It's not easy for them. Even the productivity at work is affected when workers are not paid their salary, because how do they manage? 6 months? In some other cases, you are talking about Lusaka City Council where they've gone for 3 months. They have rentals to pay. They've got children to take to school. They need to eat. Some of them, they are tempted to commit suicide because life has become misery for them.
Mr. Mulala has since called on government to bail out the councils that are struggling financially to enable them to start on a new note.
There are about 15 councils across the country who haven't been paid, and we want to urge government to come in so that these struggling councils are bailed out. They should start on a new note, and they must also speed up the automation revenue collection system, because currently, before the council revenue were in the hands of cadres, but when the cadres were removed, we have heard the councils talking about more revenues being collected, and that when the revenues are more, there's also the temptation of some people trying to poke their long hands into the funds.
Efforts to get a comment from the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretaries Mambo Hamaundu and Nicholas Piri were unsuccessful as their phones went unanswered. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A cybersecurity advocate has urged members of the public to desist from posting violent content on the internet. Zambia Cybersecurity Initiative President John Sisenki says the violent content, regardless of the outcome, has a long-lasting impact on the victims. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Sisenki has advised citizens with violent content soliciting for help to approach relevant authorities, such as the police, as opposed to posting on social media. More in this report.
The internet in Zambia in the last few days has been awash with a video of a husband battering his wife. In the like manner, a video of a child has also gone viral after he narrated torture suffered on the hands of a stepmother. The two instances have seen authorities respond promptly with police effecting arrests. However, reacting to the instances, cybersecurity advocate has cautioned members of the public from posting content of violence or involving children, as it is against the law. Cybersecurity Initiative President John Sisenki says violent content or involving children has lasting implications.
In nature, in that it also causes emotional distress. For instance, to what happened, I think last week, where a certain lady was being, brutalized by the husband. The emotional distress that the family and the victim are going through right now. We might not see it maybe because of the situation that she is in right now, but I think it has serious effects down the line of the victim and the family of the victim. And it also creates a copycat culture of violence, perpetration, in the country, so somebody also will do the same thing.
Mr. Shinsenki has advised members of the public aiming to expose any issue to use necessary channels as opposed to posting on social media.
The police has a victim support unit where you can take your grievances to, and I think the police can pick it up. And there are other organizations like NGOs, Women's Lobby, who also are helping such kind of vulnerable people in the communities who are looking for such kind of help. And I'm sure when they go take their grievances to such organizations, they'll get help, unlike bringing now that part of their life on the internet, where now even the children, when they grow up, they'll find that their parents used to go through such kind of a lifestyle.
According to the Children's Code Act number 12 of 2022, section 12 states that a child has a right to privacy appropriate to the age and maturity of that child. Under section 26 of the Act, any violation of this right to privacy, other children's rights, attracts a 1 million penalty unit, that is 300,000 kwacha, or imprisonment for a period not more than 10 years or both. For Camnet News, Afya Skaptula, Lusaka.
Former Republican Vice President Nevas Mumba says African leaders who fail to champion the interests of the people will not last as people on the continent are awakened. Mr. Mumba says African citizens have realized that minerals should be used for their benefits, and leaders who champion foreign interests no longer have room on the continent. He has advised African governments, regional blocs and the African Union to re-engineer themselves to serve the interests of the people if they are to remain relevant.
Africa has finally woken up to define what we really want at this time. Both good and bad people, or intentioned people, at least agree on the fact that Africa must now become our first and only priority. And I think that, and our only interest, and I think that the day of championing other people's interests or other nations' interests is clearly over. And all political leaders across the continent must get this, because any political leader who fails to get this point will not last in their service of their people. Africans are resolved that the interest of Africa comes first. The day of championing other people's interests is obviously over. This is that moment we have been waiting for to actualize our repeated message that Africa and her interests must come first. African governments, regional blocs like SADC, ECOWAS, East African Community, and all these communities across the continent, and the African Union included, must re-engineer themselves to serve only the African interests.
Some Lusaka residents are calling on the government to quickly find a lasting solution to high prices of mealie meal in the country. One of the residents, Zakaria Nyurongo, says this is not the time for government to start blaming the previous government on the high prices of mealie meal. Mr. Nyurongo has advised the government to work for the good of the people and desist from finger-pointing. And governance and human rights activist Wesley Mianda says government should not focus on the past, but strive to boost agricultural production, which will translate into stable prices for the country's staple food. Here's a report.
In recent months, Zambia has experienced public criticism of the increasing price of mealie meal and the cost of living. While the criticism is on the ground, others have blamed the UPND administration for failing to control the mealie meal and the cost of living situation, and others feel the previous Patriotic Front-led government left a mess. When in government, Patriotic Front member CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI claimed the economy was performing well when the prices of the commodity were fetching between 150 and 185 kwacha.
Zambia is between 140 to 150. Malawi is 450 kwacha, 25 kg bag. Zimbabwe is 620 kwacha, 25 kg. Congo is 750 kwacha.
While in opposition, Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema pledged to lower the price of mealie meal and the cost of doing business. However, some of his senior officials have accused the PF of causing the increase in the price of mealie meal, but Lusaka residents have questioned the motive of some government officials, claiming that the previous government is leading to the increasing price of mealie meal.
Yamini wakambati PF watino ndiye mimi nabu inadengesa kutunga udule iyo ni boza hiyo. wabweze chevini osa ikapo muntu akachokapo chachokapo PF siyamene jala ungosa tizikula 250 ni September inoka yabwela mainzi tizapelela pati tienda bwati ziko yenda kuti
futi stinga kale kwino tenga unga kuchoka kuma countries kwina like Malawi mambo kulisa mwingine wao kutabatira tena nikaonja tunanja polero mix
wana mandi asanduka majanki chifukwa cha nsima kusoba wana vamona ng'ono ndo tapisa pesi weki kutapasa kwa sima saiza siya kwa pesi weki ipo vindu tifesi na lampo market chifukwa cha njala business nayo yatibu ateza kamba twana zangu ukuta zamba kuja njala yose sasitabu mandi batipaya njala nga wadura baniba pitira malile stikwanisa business nayo kulipe nayo business maoda ya dura sakala bwanji.
And governance rights activist Wesley Mianda believes the UPND administration should not rush to blame anyone, explaining that they should focus on explaining the solution that they are working on. Mr. Mianda says government should bury the past and focus on production that solves the situation at hand.
The issue of accusing PF on the high prices of minimum does not arise. All we need to do is to go into production of maize. Once we have more maize, and we have more milling plants around, as suggested by the Minister of Defense. That National Service actually will go into that. And other institutions such as Zambia Correctional Services. So these are the institutions that can actually help the government to address the price of milling.
But UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa, while addressing the media, explained that the price of milling meal may only stabilize in 2024.
In the turnaround of the year 2024, we should be able to see milling meal price stability in Zambia towards affordability.
Are the citizens patient to wait for 2024? With time, the best response will be known. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Opposition Patriotic Front presidential aspirant CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has challenged Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to declare his assets and liabilities. Speaking to the media shortly after his court appearance, Dr. KAMBWILI gave the head of state a 5-day ultimatum in which to declare his assets. He says it is only right for the head of state to do so as a measure of transparency that borders on good governance. Meanwhile, Dr. KAMBWILI has urged the UPND administration to quickly address the escalating price of milling meal. Earlier, two witnesses told Justice Lamek Mwale that the Bemba phrases used by Dr. KAMBWILI on former President Edgar Lungu were not insults. More in this report.
The debate on the need for Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to publicly declare his assets and liabilities continues as Opposition Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Dr. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI gives a 5-day ultimatum in which to declare his assets. Dr. KAMBWILI said this shortly after his court appearance at the Lusaka Subordinate Court.
Umuntu ngakano kushita declare assets and liabilities as president ni shaleiba pantale fwa abantu beshiwe indala maisa nasho nesho akafuma nasho so mubebe na libe batu wa papa kalama na bapela 5 days bachite declare my assets na liabilities kaidwale imfuati bandalama nombango lwandalama nishole filo kweba abantu indalama wakwata umuntu ngaletino kweba abantu indalama wakwata nishi palifi aleti tama fisakanwa bagwatilwa kesa atweba akitukese batiyo bali bandalama nga muli bandalama chachi neshikulu tulange ni ndalama mwakwata ifi mwakano kushita declare ine palwandi ndeba titsaiza tamwakwata olupia nangu muleba two things so bakainde this is a serious matter.
Meanwhile, Dr. KAMBWILI has urged the UPND administration to quickly address the escalating price of milling meal. He has also called on President Hakainde Hichilema to quickly move to Kwazi House at State House to cut expenses on his daily movement amidst economic challenges the country is facing.
Balelanda tumutengo wabunga nga wanina nishintungulu tayakwata capacity ya kuteke chalo. Ilo balelanda efyo bunga bwali 120 kwacha. Ile lo bunga buli 305 kwacha. So nishwale tuwe na wawe na tawakwata mano. Bantu bale baba alipwatu bunga nga wanina nishintungulu tayakwata na capacity ya kuteke chalo. So muye beba. Mulefu tampio kwa tawakwata mano. Bantu efo balelanda. Tatulefwaye efyo bakatwikate atumatuka bakainde. Baweshi obunga abantu balechula. Secondly, muye beba bakainde ichilema. Ngelande fimuchibemba bakutubomfrikshe. Ukutila bakukile ku State House. Enganda bafilo kuikalako. Bale kyokulachita inconvenience abantu abale yakunchito chelo lyonse ba police na besale misebo abantu bale chelo kunchito abana bale chelo kumasukulu umulandu wa muntu mo. Leadership is not about an individual.
Earlier, Dr. KAMBWILI appeared before High Court Judge Lamek Mwale in relation to a matter he is accused of defaming the former President Edgar Lungu. Two witnesses testified this morning in his defense. They told Judge Mwale that the Bemba phrases used by Dr. KAMBWILI on former President Edgar Lungu were not insults. Allegations before court are that between the 26th and 27th of August 2019, Dr. KAMBWILI, with intent to bring the former president's name into contempt, hatred and ridicule, issued derogatory remarks against the former head of state and alleged that he was moving aimlessly and would visit any country whenever he was invited. The court has set the 13th of September 2023 as Judgment Day. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrates Court has sentenced a self-proclaimed medical doctor to 3 years imprisonment for administering a fake birth control on a client in 2022. Magistrate Crispin Hampungani has, however, found Shadrach Hangandu guilty for causing grievous harm on 39-year-old Nancy Musonda, a businesswoman. The convict was initially charged with maliciously administering poison with intent to harm, but the court has established the state failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Facts before the court are that the convict, Hangandu, injected an unknown substance on the left arm on pretext that it was family planning. More in this report.
A self-proclaimed medical doctor who administered an unknown substance on the left arm of this 31-year-old Nancy Musonda on pretext that it was family planning has booked himself a 3-year jail sentence following a judgment passed by the Lusaka Magistrate Court Monday morning. This morning, August 2023, Magistrate Crispin Hampungani found Shadrach Hangandu guilty of causing grievous bodily harm on Musonda. This was after ruling that the prosecution had lamentably failed to prove the offense of malicious administering poison with intent to harm, which led to the victim having her arm amputated. The victim is, however, not pleased with the outcome of the case.
Bazamanga for 3 years, yamne bazabamanga. Then ne family yawe ya abantu Dr. HH tunaone polo ko umozi, palipo amenizi baloko umozi. Nangpamene nze mu hospital banabwerepo nangoni kuniona nangoni yamanko alive nangoni hapa ma transport amene ni chosa. Siwe vebenze kuchosa. Palipena ngumoza amene tiziwe asibazi bapo na even family yanga. So manja pezika wajaja for 3 years. Sinamvelepo kuti bakambapo nanguva compensate iyai. So siniziwa manje kuti nzazisunga bwanji. Siniziwa mwenza sisungira chifuka ine pano penili vanisambika chapi. Sininga sambe ngati niliponeka, sininga pike ngati niliponeka, sininga adi ngati niliponeka.
She is now seeking compensation.
So mai sinza kuti nzazisunga bwanji, nezo chetekera kuti bazanifunza chamene nifuna kuli baja bantu. Chanenzo embekeza kuti banitane nibauze venifuna. Chanenzo ufuna compensate amene zanitandizako mukuzisunga kwanga ino. Pakulemala kwamene banile malika.
Pamene alili apa nditomuwashira kuambira kumapandi ili chitomuwasha ni mai wake. Kupyanga ndini mai wake. Bonse ndini mai wake. Manje ine nadabu banidabwisa bakoti. Kuti bamulipire ku mwana uyu pakwanja kwamene alimala. Manje azazisunga bwanji bana pakuti nini na ma business. Palipa kulipe chamene namverako chamene vakamba 3 years amene vamuchacha yachepa 3 years silingana na kwanja dandaula ine mai wake 3 years yachepa kulipe chamene vapasa po mwana chili chumvi ero vamumanga 3 years mwana wanga alimala sana alimale 3 years azamba kukudya azamba kukudya manje uyu mpaka impa mpaka na mumanda manje pamene vapingula ni vichani.
During trial, Nancy Musonda, a mother of 5, had testified how Shadrack Nkandu, who purported to be a medical doctor and called himself Dr. HH, injected an unknown substance on her left arm on pretext that it was family planning, further disclosing that she was charged a 20 kwacha for the same service. It was on the 11th of August 2022 when the said incident occurred, but a few minutes after taking the said family planning injection, she started feeling bad and later her arm was amputated. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, chew me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Tonight, 14th August 2023 on National Matters, join Patrick Soko with his guest, Honorable Winter Kavimba, Economic Front Party President.
To see from the UPND is, can you fulfill your campaign promises?
As they discuss governance reflections of the UPND government's 2 years in office.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Village of Hope School head teacher Shadrach Banda has called on government and well-wishers to help facilitate access to tertiary education for the pupils. This came to light when the Lusaka Mad Gear Motorcycle Club made a donation of assorted items worth over 50,000 kwacha at the facility that is located in Chongwe district. And Mr. Banda says that the donation comes as a relief to the institution that is confronted with many challenges. Meanwhile, Brian Yee, the spokesperson for Mad Gear Motorcycle Club, stressed the importance of collective effort in supporting orphaned and vulnerable children at the Village of Hope. Here's a report.
This is the Village of Hope in Lusaka's Chongwe district. The place is home to 700 vulnerable children. Just by the number of children on this facility, it is evident that taking care of them is not an easy undertaking. On Sunday, 13th August 2023, grace was upon the children who received a donation of assorted items worth 50,000 kwacha from Lusaka Mad Gear Motorcycle Club. Among the items were blankets and educational materials. Speaking during the handover ceremony, head teacher Shadrach Banda said the donation comes as a relief to the institution that is confronted with many challenges. He also highlighted that access to tertiary education for pupils is among teething problems.
We just hope that this support will not stop here, but it will continue. We will continue coming to support our children. We really thank you. Even our leadership at this institution, they are very grateful for your support. Please continue with this heart and continue blessing these children because they need your support. As you can see, these are the children that they want to do something in life. But without your support, there's nothing that they can do. So we give education up to grade 12. And these children, they have been performing well. So one challenge that we face is tertiary. So our partners, they go up to grade 12. So tertiary is a problem. So we ask if people can come on board and help these boys and girls to take them to tertiary education. That will be a plus to them.
Meanwhile, Mildred Machisa, one of the pupils at the school, expressed gratitude for the generous contribution.
Allow me to express my gratitude to you for this noble visit which you have paid us. Having left your busy schedules just to come and visit us is not that easy. We are really grateful, for it is not your first time being here. We have been together as a family. People might have forgotten what you taught them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. You have truly made us feel loved and cared for because of the support which you have continued giving us.
Brian Yee, spokesperson for the Mad Gear Motorcycle Club, stressed the importance of collective efforts in supporting orphaned and vulnerable children at the Village of Hope.
This is the third time we're here, but of course it won't be the last time. We'll continue to come to visit us, right? And I really appreciate for your welcome and for your presence. Most importantly, we're trying to deliver a message. As a biker, we're not just a biker. We are also one of, how can I say, the family, one of the family. So we would like to deliver the message to everyone that we would like to share the love, to share what we have here and enjoy the life and also deliver the love to everyone. So that the rest of the community, they'll also join us.
The Mad Gear Motorcycle Club members also took time to play football with the children to create a sense of togetherness. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A Lusaka-based HIV advocate has advised government to work with various stakeholders such as churches to disseminate HIV messages amid a rise in new HIV infections, especially among adolescents. Agnes Banda says the development has been exacerbated by moral decay among adolescents, adding that the church can play a critical role in inculcating values in young people. On Friday last week, Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo disclosed that the country records about 28,000 new HIV infections annually, of which between 14,000 to 17,000 are adolescents. More in this report.
Despite the progress made by Zambia in achieving 95 UNIAIDS targets, the country is still facing about 28,000 new infections per year. This may mean that Zambia is not on track to end the HIV/AIDS epidemic as a public health threat by 2030 if strategies to accelerate prevention of new infections are not implemented. Ending AIDS by 2030 is a promise made by Zambia along with 192 other countries in the Sustainable Development Goals and at the United Nations High-Level Meeting on Ending AIDS in 2016. With the coming of COVID-19 pandemic, most countries forgot about other health crises such as AIDS and malaria, among others. According to Health Minister Suvia Masevo, new HIV infections predominantly affects adolescents.
New HIV infections among individuals aged 15 to 35 years, particularly affecting young girls and women.
A Lusaka-based HIV advocate, Agnes Banda, has attributed this to moral decay among the young generation.
This time most of the girls are pregnant. And you know that when someone gets pregnant or one conceives, it means there was no protection. Which means these children are having unprotected sex. That is the reason, much more reason why they are becoming being infected. And apart from that, it's not just the lack of use condom, but again, the morals have just gone down. They are decayed actually. We have no morals in these youths. Because you know, starting from just the way they dress, it's pathetic. Girls are moving on the streets naked.
She has since called for collaboration between the government and other stakeholders such as the church.
We are seeing that as a country, we have politicians, we have the clergy, the teachers, the parents themselves. But we are just keeping quiet, saying, modern what? No. Let us help these young ones. Because if we don't correct this, tomorrow we are saying these children are the leaders for tomorrow. When that tomorrow comes, there will be no one to lead because they will all have been dead. We should continue, sensitizing, educating them. And this education or sensitization shouldn't be so casual as we've been doing it. At least prepare messages that will move these children.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba has expressed happiness at the initiative by traditional leaders to invite diplomats to grace traditional ceremonies, saying this is a sure way to market the country's traditional heritage to the international tourists. Speaking at the 2023 Luanza traditional ceremony of the Lundwe-speaking people of Wengwa under Senior Chief Hamusonde, the minister said the idea for the traditional leader to invite United States of America Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez, to grace the event will make many American citizens follow the event and make them possible tourists to the country. Mr. Sikumba said this is not the first event where a diplomat has been used, considering that British High Commissioner to Zambia recently graced the Lubindantongo traditional ceremony under Chief Mumena in Northwestern Province. And Ambassador Gonzalez says tourists should not only be taken to places like Livingstone, Lusaka and South Luangwa, but should also be taken to rural areas to experience the country's rich, diverse culture, because that is where the real Zambia is. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union has recognized strides made by Republican President Hakainde Hichilema and his administration, but expresses concern in some areas regarding human rights for all, especially for refugees. Organization Executive Director Maurice Makalu says among the strides the UPND administration has made is reforming the laws such as the passage of the abolishment of the death penalty, the removal of defamation of the president law, and passage of the Human Rights Commission Bill 2023, which allocates more power to the commission. Mr. Makalo says these reforms signify a commitment to bolstering human rights and justice within Zambia.
The Zambian Civil Liberties Union implores the President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to accelerate the formulation of a comprehensive refugee policy and take decisive steps towards its effective implementation. By doing so, Zambia can both fulfill its global commitments to the Global Compact for Refugees and secure a just and compassionate society for all. There is currently no government policy on how to guide the existence of refugees in Zambia. We have over 89,000 refugees, and all the actors are just doing their initiative and putting in whatever direction they think. With a government policy that will be able to coalesce and harness all the efforts of different actors in the refugee space, we will be able to deliver tangible solutions to help the refugee situation in Zambia. After 2 years of the UPND government in Zambia, the Zambian Civil Liberties Union hopes and urges the government to expedite the release of the refugee policy.
We'll take our second and final break. Join us for more news after the break.
Tonight, 14th August 2023, on National Matters, join Patrick Soko with his guest, Honorable Winter Kavimba, Economic Front Party President.
To see from the UPND easy, can you fulfill your campaign promises?
As they discuss governance reflections of the UPND government's 2 years in office.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days in forgotten stories. We emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now in international news, almost 3 weeks after Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum was deposed, the new military leadership strongly criticized the sanctions imposed by ECOWAS and the West African Economic and Monetary Union. ECOWAS condemned the coup and imposed economic and financial sanctions on the country of over 25 million people. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
Almost 3 weeks after Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum was deposed, the new military leadership strongly criticized sanctions imposed by ECOWAS and the West African Economic and Monetary Union. A member of the junta addressed the nation on Sunday. ECOWAS condemned the coup and imposed economic and financial sanctions on the country. Niger's transitional authorities regret this attitude of certain international community countries, which consists of showing solidarity with a few politicians of the deposed regime, while at the same time lacking empathy for the people of Niger, who have been hard hit by the illegal, inhumane and humiliating sanctions imposed by ECOWAS. The sanctions go so far as to deprive the country of pharmaceutical products, basic foodstuffs and electricity supplies. The sanctions have left landlocked Niger with minimal power supply, as Nigeria, whose supply accounts for 70% of Niger's electricity, has cut off power supply. Following the sanctions, multinational organizations also cut off their links with Niger. The Sahelian nation is home to over 25 million people.
South Africa's high level of unemployment is at an alarming rate of 33%, with experts warning it is a timing bomb and can cause political instability. Graduates have now opted for menial jobs, while others resorting to recycling to earn a living in a country that has shed more than 2 million jobs since the COVID-19 pandemic. The way I see it, South Africa is going in the direction of Zimbabwe economically. We'll have to run away now and go to other countries with our qualifications, with whatever skills we have, because our government doesn't even acknowledge university students in terms of their future. That's when they leave and they want to be a doctor or they want to be a nurse or whatever. At the end of the day, the graduates come back home and sit doing nothing in the township. I blame the government. When it comes to youth unemployment, the rate is 61% of 15 to 24-year-old, according to official statistics, and a staggering 71% for those who are no longer trying.
You know those kind of emails, we regret to inform you that your application were unsuccessful. You tried to change your CV, you used this one, the design, you changed it, you used this one, you changed your duties and all that. Yes, I applied for several of them, and then last year, that is when I applied for the teacher assistant post. I saw it on youth.mobi and I was like, you know what, let me just give it a try.
One of the government's policies to combat unemployment is helping young entrepreneurs start businesses. But this initiative has not helped much.
It is an experience called a youth bulge, where your young population all kind of matures to a labor, to the working age at the same time, and so you have people entering the labor market. Now, unfortunately, because we don't have an economy that grows, there's no way to absorb all of those young people. We then say, okay, well, part of the solution must be entrepreneurship. But we also then live within an economic environment that doesn't adequately support entrepreneurship. South Africa is one of the most difficult places to do business in.
According to reports, South Africa's GDP needs to grow by 6% a year to start creating enough jobs just for the 700,000 people who enter the workforce every year.
Nearly 4 months into the deadly war in Sudan, the head of the military gave a rare televised speech on Monday. General Al-Burhan accused the rival paramilitary RSF of committing war crimes. The fighting between the nation's most powerful generals, who once derailed a short-lived transition to democracy, has resulted in violent battles. They have exacted a devastating toll on human lives and infrastructure. How can you bring about democracy by committing war crimes, which have been committed in Khartoum, Jneina, Khartoum, Tawila, Sirba, Slileha, Munwaja, Ka'as, and every inch stepped up upon by the rebels in the country since their ill-fated mutiny? In a report unveiled earlier this month, Amnesty said extensive war crimes and unimaginable horror had been recorded. The organization accused both warring sides of committing extensive war crimes, including sexual violence against girls and the indiscriminate targeting of civilians.
Now, sports news tonight. NAPSA Stars head coach Perry Mutapa has declared the team ready for the forthcoming 2023-2024 Zambia Super League season, which kicks off this weekend. Mutapa told a media briefing in Lusaka that the short-term goals for the team is to qualify for the ABSA Cup, which eluded them last season. He says to achieve this, the team needs to ensure that it performs better in the first round of the league. He says he realizes that the first 10 games will be tough, but that the team needs to prove itself if they are to play the ABSA Cup this season.
Obviously, last season we missed out on the qualification for the ABSA. So this season we are looking forward if we can do better in the first round of the season, so that we can qualify to play in the quarterfinals for the ABSA. Long term, obviously, we came out number 5 last season. So as a team, as individuals, we want to do better than we did last season. The short-term goals, which are to qualify to the ABSA. And I think we missed out last season because we didn't start very well. So this season, yes, we know we have very big games. I think we have, in fact, maybe in the first 7 games, because there's Nkana, there's Zanaco, there's Red Arrows, there's Warriors, there's Zesco, of course, the first game. But of course, all the teams, I think, this season are going to be tough. But the most important thing, I think, is to how we have prepared. And I think lessons learned from last season, so it doesn't matter who we are going to face. Of course, even the first game, a very huge game, but we are going to do our best. We know Zesco, I think, in the last decade, the best team in Zambia, but we are also an emerging team. We want to do well, so it's not going to be easy, but we have got plans for all the games until the last match of the season. But yes, huge games, but we are targeting to, of course, being the first games, to do well so that going forward we all have the confidence and make sure we end on a high in the first round.
We've come to the end of Camnet Television main news. Before we go, the headlines once again. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI gives President Hakainde Hichilema a 5-day ultimatum to move into State House. Fake doctor gets 3-year jail sentence for causing amputation of the client's hand. The labor movement urges government to bail out councils amid cases of unpaid salaries. In international news, Niger junta slams inhumane ECOWAS sanctions. And in sports news, NAPSA stars eye 2024 ABSA Cup. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Ephesians 2 verse 10. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Thank you so much for watching Camnet Television News. My name is EPHESIANS. Good night.